what they did, what they didn't do, what they need to do at the draft. And let's start with the Oakland Raiders making the playoffs for the first time since 2012. They finished 12-4. Everybody should be excited about the Raiders, right, Peter?
I don't know, Kay.
We're the Raiders! We're back! It's happened before. Hey, look, those teams, I don't want to hear about those teams. I don't want to hear about the Broncos. Boring! The Chiefs, boring! We are the Raiders. We're good for football. The ratings are high. Everyone's watching.
Yeah, go!
Woo!
Yeehaw!
The silver and black are back, Miss Adams. And when it's all said and done, the silver and black will be on top.
Ooh! Sometimes I'm like, why are we allowed to?
Did you drop the mic? That was a drop the mic.
That was amazing. This and this and this. So they had a good year, right? Reggie McKenzie didn't exactly make huge waves, though, this offseason, right, Peter? They need a running back. It's like the question I keep asking myself, what are you going to do? You're not going to have Adrian Peterson in for a visit. Maybe Dalvin Cook falls to you because you need a running back. You only have DeAndre Washington and Jalen Richard. Marshawn Lynch, is that happening? Like, let's get it going a little bit. Also, they're going to have to do some, like, cap space magic because they have Derek Carr and Khalil Mack entering their final year of their contracts. They're going to have to figure that out, too.
That's that problem when you have so many good players.
They have, I think they have the sixth most NFL cap space, but they still, they're going to have to figure something out.
I love the Cordero Patterson signing. I mean, all of a sudden you've got a vertical guy at the receiver position, but also he's led the NFL in kickoff returns the last 2 years in a row. I mean, that's a game changer right there. That flips the field for the offense, and man, that's a huge sign. I think Jared Cook too.
They also need a linebacker, so we'll see what they do at the draft. What do you think, Peter?
And defensive back. And I mean, to me, defense, running back will be interesting. If Cook is there, that's a great pick. I don't know if he's there where they're drafting at 24, but defensive back to me is something that they got burned on. And who knows, if Derek Carr doesn't go down with that injury, who knows if they give the Patriots a run for their money, because
that would have been awesome.
They lose to the Texans lose to the Patriots, and then on we go. But, it's almost like what if, and now they're going to be playing in a stadium. If they don't win early, Kay, could not be a full house every week if they start struggling early.
It's time for Return of the Jedi in the Raiders trilogy. All right, Sean, you have the Broncos.
Yeah, how about those Denver Broncos? All right, they missed the playoffs last year. It was close. They were 7-3. They played the Kansas City Chiefs in that Week 12 game. Didn't work out for them. Of course, that was after winning Super Bowl 50. Now Vance Joseph is the new guy. Gary Kubiak, we hope you're doing well. But Vance is in charge in Denver. Our James Palmer caught up with Von Miller, who says he's fired up and ready to play for Vance Joseph.
Vance Joseph, first impressions, you just mentioned he's so good at connecting with you guys. What makes him such a good communicator with you?
Man, I don't know. He could just, he's been around the league. He's been a great defensive teams. Out of all the seasons that he's coached, he's only had, a few losing seasons. And, he's been around all different types of players, and he just has that connection. I don't know. If I could explain it, every coach would, be like that. Yeah. But, Coach VJ is definitely special. We're gonna be able to do some big things here with him.
You've spoken about DeMarcus a little bit and what he's meant to you since he announced his retirement. Where do you pick up the slack with DeMarcus, and do you have to grow up at all to be a leader and fill DeMarcus' shoes a little bit? Can you still be the same Vaughn?
I mean, I'm gonna always be the same Vaughn. You can't really, replace, a guy like DeMarcus. It's the same when, when Peyton left. You can't really just, fill that type of void. You just can only modify the team, and keep it going. It gives other guys, a huge opportunity to go out there and do everything that they want to do in their careers.
You, within this locker room, many of you guys have told me you have faith in both those quarterbacks. What about those guys make you guys realize that this Romo thing is really no sweat? You have faith in these two quarterbacks.
Paxton, he's great. He's one of the coolest guys in the locker room. Big arm. He's incredibly talented. We had big-time success with Trevor, too. So from day one, I was already okay with the two quarterbacks that we had, and those guys just battling out for the number one position.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, great stuff by James Palmer right there, going one-on-one with Von Miller, talking about the passing of the torch from DeMarcus Ware to Vaughn. Don't forget Shane Ray on the other side. That'll be a nice compliment. Here is what Denver has done this offseason, all right? Nobody in Denver, when they're ordering their late-night Papa John's pizza, is talking about the defense and the no-fly zone. They're talking about how do we protect our quarterback. So they went out and got Ron Leary, Menelik Watson from the divisional Raiders. They signed Damata Petco from the Bengals. That's big because, they lost Pot Roast, and every year they lose another big defensive tackle.
Yeah.
For the Denver Broncos, it's about the offense. All right, Russell Okung and Donald Stevenson, the tackles, they struggled last year. And I thought there were games where Trevin Siemian, look, that Week 12 game I mentioned against Kansas City, he went out through for 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, they lose the game. Then he gets hurt. Now all of a sudden it's changed. And that question mark is, all right, who's going to be our quarterback? How do we protect him? And how do we run the football? I mean, that's really Mike McCoy, his big challenge coming in here this offseason. So, we're talking a lot about running backs here. I think Denver's looking at some running backs and saying, hey, if C.J. Anderson can't be our guy, look, Devontae Booker, they drafted him a couple years ago. He stepped in. It didn't really work out. That offense was not hitting on all cylinders. But this is a tough division now all of a sudden. Offensively, you've got to keep pace.
If you were to describe the Broncos offseason in a Nickelback song title, what would you choose?
Oh, you know them all, Sean.
How about Photograph?
Peter, who else we over?
Sean had an answer. That was great.
Every time I see it, it makes me laugh.
Wow.
I'm intrigued by the Los Angeles Chargers this year because they have a new coach, they have a new stadium, they have a new fan base, and they might be newly reignited.
They're healthy.
They're healthy, Kay. We always talk about this, that the Chargers lost so many heartbreakers last year, and they had so many weird injuries. When you lose guys like Keenan Allen, who I believe had 10 catches in the first quarter of Week 1, and they lose him, he goes down to an injury, you start wondering what could have been. And this year, they're finally healthy. And yeah, there were some players they lost, but Danny Woodhead, he goes and takes big money from the Ravens. You can't knock him on that. DJ Fluker was released. Another one, King Dunlap, released. Manti Te'o, okay. Brandon Flowers, released. Like, these aren't guys that you're necessarily losing sleep over. What you do have, though, is this young, fun defense with Joey Bosa, and you've got the rookie linebacker from last year, and you've got the number 7 overall pick.
Evan Ingram got his deal done.
And I like the stadium deal, guys. I know we make fun about this Carson City.
StubHub Center.
So I did a bowl game there for Fox. I was on the sidelines, and it's a 27,000 seat building.
Very intimate.
And it's intimate. And guess what? On TV, it'll feel different. It'll feel like the rack where Rutgers used to play basketball, where everyone's on the actual court. And you feel like it actually is a small, like Cameron Crazy type deal. And yeah, people are knocking. Oh, you can't. Look, the LA Coliseum was half empty last year. That's no way to watch a football game either.
Aren't they still cleaning up from the Butterbean fight the night before?
That's fine. Butterbean and the Major League Lacrosse League were there the night before.
There's a tooth.
But it's okay. It's for a couple years. It's a temporary thing, and it's a different feel. Look, if this team starts winning, it's going to be a hot ticket. And if I'm the Rams, and I'm in that LA Coliseum for a couple years before we get to our big stadium, you start wondering, wait a second, would someone rather go to a state-of-the-art, new, smaller building with amenable parking that I can actually have a nice day at, or am I waiting for an hour paying $100 for parking at the LA Coliseum? Something to discuss?
Makes a good point.
He does make a good point.
LA,
baby. Listen, I got to talk about the Chiefs, and maybe they're not so exciting, and they're not good for TV ratings, whatever that was, Peter. It was special. But look, the Raiders got all that run last year, deservedly so. Great season. The Chiefs beat them twice. The Chiefs beat Atlanta in Atlanta. The Chiefs had an awesome season, but then it ends, and they lose to Pittsburgh at home, and Pittsburgh doesn't even score a touchdown. I mean, it was a tough loss. So what do? Let's take a look at the offseason. Let's take a look at the shopping list, the departures. C.J. Spiller, now officially a journeyman. They get a tight end. And look, they lost Dontari Poe. That's okay. Jamal Charles, it was kind of time to be done. The question here about Kansas City is Alex Smith, and it's the quarterback as we go into the draft. They're in this very strange gray area with Alex Smith that feels like a friend zone. Alex Smith, keep him there. You're going to win 10 games, 11 games, 12 games, and then you get to the playoffs, and that's nice, and you get your T-shirt, and then you go home. And the idea is now going into this draft, do we want to draft a quarterback right now? Look, Andy Reid loves Alex Smith. He gushes about him as a human being, as a leader, and everything. You start looking at those mock drafts for Kansas City, you see Deshaun Watson a lot. You see Patrick Mahomes a few times. I personally think they should draft a quarterback in this draft right now. And Alex Smith is a great person and a very nice player. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with Alex Smith.
Really?
You're not going to do it.
You're telling Melissa Etheridge that Alex Smith is not.
I love Melissa Etheridge. She was one of the greatest guests we've ever had. Alex Smith has had shots with San Francisco with great defenses and great coaches. He's had shots in Kansas City. He had this amazing special teams and defense around him, and you're one and done in the playoffs. Yes, right? We do. Okay, I feel like we've seen this movie a lot of times, and it's time to go into the other theater. I love Alex Smith. I think now, while you still have these guys, and you still have Marcus Peters, and you have Tyreek Hill, the guys who are young and playing, go now. Don't wait, because if you try 2 more times with Alex Smith, then those guys are going to be gone or they're going to be old. I would draft a quarterback
If
right
they
now.
take Mahomes, that's like the antithesis of Alex Smith,
It is.
right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Like bizarro world.
And I tell you what, the hard thing is coming into Andy Reid's offense as a rookie, absorbing that whole playbook with the amount of shifts, the amount of
Maybe you don't.
That's tough.
And you know what, Kay? I think Mahomes needs a little Alex Smith in his life. You know, a little bit of that calm down, run the offense a little bit, and maybe he's your starter in 2018. I think you do it.
Great stuff. For more on the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Raiders, and Broncos, check out Kevin Patra's Offseason Overhaul piece on the AFC West at NFL.com/offseason overhaul.